Hello comrades and welcome to ReginaldESQ. I am on the hook and this is my review of the Russian T-5 medium tank, the T-34. So, is tank good? Yeah, tank is very good. Apologies for my terrible Russian accent. Sorry about that, folks. So, into the tank review. Yeah, it's a very good tank. Really enjoyed this tank. It has 450 hit points, which is a little low. Now, there's a lot of tier 5 medium tanks. There's 13 of them, and 6 of them are premium tanks. So it's kind of goes berserk with premium tanks at this tier. Now, it kind of skews the figures a little bit too, because 4 of the 6 premium tanks have very high hit points. They have 610 hit points. And the other 2 of them have 480 hit points each. So having 450 hit points, yeah, it's poor. But it's, yeah, it's poor. Okay. There's 2 other tanks that have lower. The M7 has 440 and the Panzer III has 440. The Type T-34, of course, has the same 450 because it's basically a same Chinese version of this tank. And the others all have 480. So it's a bit low on hit points. However, it's pretty heavy. It weighs in at 29.4 tons. The only tanks really heavier than that is the premium Sherman, which is about 31.8 ton, and also I think the Matilda BP is about 30 ton as well. But you can pretty much ram any other medium, especially any lights you find at your tier, and you'll come off pretty well. Speed wise, this tank has a speed of 56 kilometers an hour in forward and 20 kilometers an hour in reverse. The reverse speed is very good and does help it pop in and out for shooting, and it is very, very, very good at that. Now, the 56 kilometers an hour in forward though isn't as fast as the M7 or the T-25 at 60 kilometers an hour. However, this top speed of 56, yes, it will do it, but it takes a long time to get there. I ran this on Himmelsdorf on the flat paved road, even turned around the corner and continued as far as I could, and I got it to 55, not 56, and it probably would hit 56, but where the hell are you going to find a flat road long enough to get there? I don't know. So the acceleration isn't good, and it does slow a fair bit up hills, although it takes off okay, but once it gets to about 35, 40, it really backs off on acceleration. So you're probably never going to hit that on the flat, but downhill it will go very fast. Now, the track traverse on this tank is good and is above average at 40 degrees a second. The worst in class is the premium T-25 at 30 degrees a second, but the best is the M7 with a whopping 48 degrees of track traverse. But 40 is quite respectable, and the tank does handle well. The turret traverse of 49 though is the best in class, and surprisingly it is better than the Chinese Type T-34, but only by 1 degree. It's got 48. The worst in class is again the T-25 premium with 23. So yeah, with this turret traverse, the speed of the tank and the track traverse all combined make this a very maneuverable and agile tank, and getting your gun on targets is really easy. And that it's also got a quick aim time on the gun, so it just means you can get your gun and shoot people really, really well. It has a view range of 350 meters, which is kind of average for this tier. The worst in class is again the T-25 premium and also the Panzer III with 320, which is pretty poor. But the M7 has a whopping 380, which is pretty awesome. So we're kind of smack in the middle there. Now, the radio signal is about 500 meters or 550. I've only got 325 here because I stupidly forgot to upgrade my radio, which you'll see in a minute. Anyway, and the M7 is the best in class, but it's a little below average radio range. Now, the camouflage on this tank is in fact not bad. Not as good as the Matilda 4 Premium, but it's up there with the sort of the M7s and the Panzer 4H. It's not bad. It's a little bit below them perhaps, but pretty good camouflage. Quite happy with it. Gun depression wise, this tank gets 8 degrees of gun depression, which is quite good, although it's only average at this tier. It has 20 degrees of elevation, which is not bad as well. The best is the Matilda 4 with a whopping 14 degrees of gun depression, and as well as that, the M4 Sherman gets 12 degrees. And there's a couple of other guys, or a few others, that get 10 degrees. So, you know, it's not bad, 8 degrees, and it can hill fight all right with it. And particularly, it does have a very strong turret, this tank, even though the hull is pretty weak. So, it does help you. If you can manage to get hull down this tank, you can do quite well. The worst in class is the Chinese Type T-34 with only 5 degrees of gun depression. And that is essentially the difference between the two tanks. The gun that I use on this tank, which is not the top gun for the tank, but I think it's the best gun for the tank, the ZIS-4, is exactly the same as the top gun on the Chinese Type T-34, except that the Russian tank gets 8 degrees of gun depression and the Chinese tank gets 5 degrees of gun depression. Other than that, the tanks are pretty much the same, which all goes to saying that the Russian tank is better than the Chinese tank. Russian boys! Excuse me, a bit of a cough there. So, let's get into the grind for this little saga. And here's what I'm talking about with these guns. Now, as you can see there, I didn't upgrade my radio. Like an idiot, I've been playing this game and I forgot to upgrade my radio. What a moron. Anyway, we can see here that the ZIS gun is, you get to it fairly easy. I even skipped this one. I think I already had the ZIS unlocked because I've got it on another tank. 57mm gun with a 26.09 rate of fire at tier 5. That is immense rate of fire. Has 112 pen, which is quite respectable, and does 85 damage per shot. Now that's pretty low damage, but with that rate of fire, it's pretty good. Has a .34 accuracy, which is very good at tier 5. Very good indeed. And has a 2.3 second aiming time, which isn't super quick, but it's pretty good. Now, that's not the top gun, though. The top gun is the 76mm, much bigger gun. Rate of fire is 10.53, which, as you can see, is less than half the rate of fire of the 57mm. Has a 125mm of penetration, which is quite good at tier 5. And does 115 damage per shot. So far, it's looking like a pretty good gun. But the accuracy is only 0.41. That's not very good at all. And the aiming time goes out to 2.9, which is pretty damn slow. Now, this tank doesn't have great armor. It's okay, actually. It's pretty good for a medium tank, but it's not great. So an aiming time of 2.9 is a little bit longer than you want to be sitting in front of the enemies for. And then the chance of missing, if you're at anything other than close range, and the chance of not being able to hit weak spots, which, let's face it, with this, you kind of need to aim for weak spots. With that rate of fire, you know, the pen and the damage are nice, but to be honest with you, I struggled to have good games with that gun. But I had plenty of good games with this gun, and this is the gun I went with. Yeah, the pen's a little bit lower. You can switch to premium and get 189 if you're desperate, like in a tier 7 game, and it does struggle with tier 7s. But gee whiz, you know, you can pump so many shots into them. Because it only does 85 damage, you're not stressed about putting one into the tracks to track them. Bloody good gun. Works really well on this tank. Alright. Other than that, do upgrade the radio. Alright, let's now... I think we've sort of spoken about it. The turret works very good on hills, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in Tank Inspector shortly. Now, my crew is currently 100% trained, but they might not be in the games that I show you, and I will let you know if they're not. I have the gun laying drive fitted to speed up the aiming time of 2.3, because it will load faster than it can aim. So that's, for my books, that's an essential upgrade for this tank. Also, vents fitted to help speed up the aiming time and loading time as well. I have small repair kit, large first aid kit fitted, and I also normally carry binoculars on this tank as well. So let's get into the review, and in Tank Inspector now, we'll explain a little bit more about side scraping this tank, because it does side scrape pretty well as well. So the T-34 in Tank Inspector. Well, this tank was just in the last patch 9.3 remodeled for HD, and they changed the armor values somewhat. So it used to have exactly the same armor as the Chinese Type T-34. Now that they've updated the armor on this tank, it's actually different from the Chinese tank. I assume they will update the Chinese tank to be the same as this in a future patch. So it has 45mm of armor on the front, which isn't very much. Upper and lower plates, although they are well sloped, but when you slope armor that thin, it doesn't make a lot of difference. So it's only coming up like at about 54 from the front. There is a little strip here at the front, which is 80mm of overlaid armor. The side of the hull has just changed. So here we can see the lower side of the hull is 45, and the upper side of the hull is 40. That used to be 45 before 9.3, but now it's 40. What that means is, because this tank does actually side scrape well, believe it or not, because you can keep most of the front of the tank hidden and bounce shots off here, for example. I've got this set on as a 122mm gun, but you can see that a 122mm, whilst it can't penetrate that 45mm, can penetrate the 40mm, because it will overmatch, because it's more than 3 times the caliber is more than 3 times the armor value. So Russian KV-85s and IS can pen the side of you if you are side scraping. Before the HD remodeling, they couldn't. But most other tanks you come across will bounce off the side if you're side scraping. So it still works quite well as a side scrape, but just to bear in mind, if it's a Russian with a 120 or 122mm gun, they can pen you automatically on the side, so don't side scrape against them. Moving to the rear of the tank, it is 40mm. The upper deck of the tank is 20mm, but the cupola top is 15mm. The rear of the turret, while we're here, is 45mm, which, hey, it's our medium tank, so that's fair enough. Now, the turret, though, is quite strong at 52mm. Now, this was recently buffed. When they reduced the side armor, they increased the cupola from 45 to 52. So, it now has a stronger turret, and it's probably not a bad trade-off, since going sort of hull down this tank or popping over hills is one of the main activities. Having the stronger cupola is really welcome. So yeah, it does bounce some shots. You can see here, like the angling here, it's quite bouncy, and the rounding of the turret here does make quite a few ricochet areas. The mantlet area here doesn't really overlay very much. It's mostly just the 52, except down the bottom here you can see it is overlaying and quite strong, but for most of it, it's not overlaying or anything like that. But you will bounce quite a few shots off this turret and even the cupola. Overall, the armor is very good. And as I said, you can side scrape. If it's not a 122mm gun, let's change this to say a 94mm. Okay. You can see that this will still ricochet up until about this angle here. We're still getting ricochet. So you can side scrape, pop out, take a shot, very quick aiming time, very quick loading gun. You pop out, take a shot, pop back, pop out, pop back, pop out, pop back, blah, 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 like that. It's really good because with big tanks, they will take a shot. Hopefully they bounce. You will be able to pop out, take probably 3 shots before you pop back, before they've reloaded. And you really frustrate the heck out of them. Yeah, that's about it. Let's get into some gameplay. The first thing I'm going to show you is actually me side scraping. So you can have a look at some side scraping, and then we'll get into a couple of fantastic games in this tank.
Let's go.
Okay, so the map is Himmelsdorf. It's a tier 7 game. The enemy has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tier 7s, few tier 6s and the rest are 5s. You can see the speed of the tank here. We're doing 39, something like that. Oh, I just hit a rock, so that doesn't help. Now this game I have the top gun fitted, which is the 76mm S-54 gun. So in this game I just want to quickly show you some side scraping, and also probably you'll get to see the failings of this particular gun, or I just don't think this gun suits this tank. I've been spotted here, so it's time to get back into cover. Not sure who spotted me. That must have been a fair way off. So I decided to maybe just use poke my nose through here. It has got pretty good turret armor for a medium. So yeah, this gun has really good pen. I think it's what it was, 128 or something, and has does 115 damage, I think, per shot, something like that. But the accuracy isn't great at 0.41, I think it is. And the aim time's a little long at 2.9. Okay, so we see some tanks coming through. Get ready to shoot at them. Come on, stick your nose out. I might just speed this up a little bit to 2 times. Oh, back to normal speed. Here we go. Okay, so that shot goes true and we hit home. He actually bounces off our upper mantlet. but that guy doesn't. He puts one through our turret. I think that one may have gone through our cupola. That one probably went through our cupola. We fire again. Miss, taking a bit too long to aim. If we just have a quick look at those shots. Yep, you can see there, one shot through our cupola, the other one through our top of our mantlet, and the other one, the green area there, was where it bounced off our mantlet. So back into the tank. Alright, so I didn't do too well out of that exchange. That VK hit me hard for 209 points. So I have about a third of my health left. So, as I said, low hit points, and at tier 7, it's pretty tough. I'm just going to speed this up again. 4 times. Okay, back to 2 times. You can see there, the VK just fired at me and bounced. Now watch this tank side scrape. Okay, so we get a good hit there in the Cromwell. It bounces off us. See, there's plenty of tanks here, but now watch the accuracy. Fully aimed, missed. So aiming at the cupola of this Tiger. That one bounced. Didn't quite hit the side of the cupola instead of the middle, what we're aiming at. That one missed completely. And this is the issue. Now that one didn't hit the target, the Cromwell that just drove in front of the shot. T-67 comes out, we give him one, thank you very much. It's fine at hitting stuff like that when the whole tank comes out at close range. But hitting, like say, a cupola at close range, look at that. It's just not good. But we are bouncing a heck of a lot of shots here. Now let's just get out of the tank here and have a look. Look at the side of the tank there. How much we're bouncing. And we managed to get a shot there into that guy. Going for that cupola again. That one there, tracks ate the shot. They can't penetrate us. These are tier 7 tanks that are shooting at us. And they can't pen us. It side scrapes very well. There's another shot. Where'd that one hit? Maybe the mantle, that one I think. But look at all the hits on the side, the green hits there. Oh, the Tiger's been killed. And here he comes. Reload, reload, reload. We get another shot into him. Uh-oh. This is looking bad. We didn't pen him. Another ricochet from the Cromwell. Oh! What happened? A sneaky IS drove up behind us and shot us in the back. We were the second last tank remaining on our team, so it wasn't much we could do there. Alright, so we lost that game. It wasn't a particularly good game. I didn't, play great or anything. But I wanted to show you that game because, one, it was using that so-called top gun, which I don't think is the best gun for this tank. So I got you to see that. And also, it was in a tier 7 match, and we bounced a lot of shots. So it just shows you this tank can side scrape pretty well. So let's have a look at the next screen. And we actually finished on top for XP. Tier 5 in a tier 7 match is not too bad. Even though we didn't do anywhere near as much damage as some of the other guys. So, yeah, there you go. Next screen. And we fired 20 shots. 9 of those hit. So accuracy is pretty damn poor. Of the 9 it hit, 8 penetrated. So penetration is quite good even against tier 7s. We did 794 damage. It's still not that bad because we only got 450 hit points on our tank. So we still did okay. We received 14 hits. Only 5 of those 14 penetrated. So we actually bounced 9 shots. And I'm pretty sure they're all from tier 6s or tier 7s. We blocked 1,840 damage. For a medium tank with 450 hit points, that's pretty damn impressive. We spotted one. Let's see. We damaged 4 tanks. Did a bit of assistance damage as well. And as you can see, there's a bit of a bonus going at the moment, so we wouldn't have made that much money, but it still does make pretty good profits on a defeat. Yeah, so there you go. Next game.
Let's go.
Okay, tier 7 game. Ruinberg is the map, and the enemy has only 2 tier 7 tanks. Quite a few tier 6s, and about half the tanks on each side tier 5s. So we're in our T-34 tier 5 Russian medium tank. Moving across, you can see, as I said, it takes off originally quickly, but then it's a little slow to accelerate here. We're going a slide uphill. Now see a Leopard moving across. Just take a shot and we hit. straight away you can see the difference in this gun compared to the gun we used in the last game. Now in the last game I didn't mention my commander and radio operator were fully trained, but my other two crew members, the gunner and loader, or gunner and driver I think it is, were only I think 85% trained. So that would have affected the accuracy a little bit as well. Now in this game my commander and radio operator fully trained, and the gunner and driver are 90% trained, so still not fully trained crew. So being a tier 5, I'm being a little cautious here. Now whilst this tank does side scrape quite well, the frontal armour isn't strong, and a direct front on hit will definitely pen from just about any tank. But if it's really angled, you can get ricochets. Okay, Dick and Max moving out in the open. Did we just track it or did he just stop? Don't know. Anyway, he's dead. Churchill 7, which is a tier 6 British heavy tank. Aiming at the wheel guard is one of the best spots to pen, but I cannot find a spot to pen. I probably should have switched to premium ammunition there, but, you know, I'm a tight ass. Alright, so we see a Stug and the Panzer SFL down there, so I decide to move up, see if I can get shots on them. The enemy is capping, or there's two of them in cap, although they're only about 9 or 10%, and we are hitting them. I can see the cap going down, so it's not too urgent. I can see the Stug now. We should be able to get a shot on him.
Enemy armor is destroyed.
I fired it where I thought he was, and it hit, so that was a bit of luck. There, a bit of luck and good management as well, combined, I guess you could say. I kind of waited for somebody else to drive in the open there because I didn't want to expose myself to shots. There's the Churchill again. We miss terribly and hit a car. Moving up, I may be able to get some more shots on this Churchill when he goes through this next section. So see how we go here. He's a slow tank. And here he is. Let's see if we can hit him now. Oh, we hit his engine. He's on fire. Thank you, mama. That one bounces. That shot goes in. Oh, we're hitting his engine deck now. Another shot goes in. Another one. Oh, yeah. And we're getting ready to kill him off now. Another one. Oh, our T-34 steals our Thunder and kills it. But we did plenty of damage anyway. You can see here how fast this gun loads and refires. So the 85 damage, which is low, doesn't really matter in situations like that. We can just keep pumping shots out. The reload time is fantastic, especially for a tier 5. Okay, so VK. Unfortunately, he was looking at us and he got a shot into us for 143, which we don't like, but we did manage to kill him off. He was on low health, so I took the risk. Panther, tier 7 German medium. We managed, he's got a, well, we managed to basically just pop out, shoot, pop back. That's what this tank is really good at. And you can see there the quick aiming time and the accuracy of this gun. You know, those are the sort of shots you can pull off in this tank. It's an awesome tank for that sort of stuff. It's just a little bit fragile. So now we're having a look at this Tiger P. I foolishly shoot low on him, even though the Tiger P's weakness is its turret, not its lower plate. I did manage to penetrate its lower plate there anyway. Now, remember when we were shooting at the cupola with the last gun in the previous game? Watch this. This guy's at, what, 130 meters, just over.
We didn't penetrate their armor. Penetration. Gotcha.
So there's your difference between the guns. I mean, admittedly, our gunner on the previous game was about 85% trained, and this game is 90% trained. But even so, it was much closer range in the last game. So, yeah, this gun, in my opinion, this ZIS-4 gun, which is the 57mm, is the far better gun for this tank. And I think that's a general consensus in the wargaming community. Most people use this gun if they can. So we found Artie now, FV304, so we need to be a little careful. He doesn't point at me, he thinks about it, and somebody else gets the kill. Who keeps taking my kills? How's a man supposed to get Top Gun? Alright, anyway. So they only have an ELC AMX left. We have 5 tanks left. We can't lose, so I'm just going to go after him. I'm pretty sure I'm actually sitting on 5 kills because I did kill that Stug when it was hidden. So if I get this ELC, I should get Top Gun. So I just really want to get him now. Oh, I've been spotted. Unfortunately, he has fantastic camouflage. It's probably stationary, and I don't. Oh, there he is. Aim through the car, and we get him. Great shot. He hits us for 242, and he's locked our turret. I'm moving my tracks to try and get a shot at him, but my turret is locked. Oh. Now, I probably would have killed him then, but my turret was locked. So a bit of bad luck. Now, the turret on this tank gets locked frequently. Shots to the turret ring. Actually, let's have a look. Did he get our turret ring? Because normally it's the turret ring that locks it. No, don't know where he got it. It might have been in just that part of the hull there, but it still locked the turret. So, yeah, turret gets locked pretty frequently, so definitely have a repair kit on hand for that. And the fact that you go hull down a fair bit in this tank does mean that they're shooting the turret a lot, so... Okay, this is a big risk because he's a light tank with great camouflage and I have been spotted. But I want to take the risk because I'm trying to get Top Gun here. Oops! Gee, wow, he got a long way away pretty fast. You can see that he's got 2 marks of excellence on his tank, so he definitely knows how to drive that tank. So, obviously we won the game. Well done to that ELC play, he did well. I was mistaken, I only had 4 kills, I wasn't on 5 kills, so I was totally wrong. Anyway, we did get mastery in the tank, and we got a Levashenko's medal, which is for killing 2 tanks in a medium tank that are at least 2 tiers above you, or that are 2 tiers above you. So, yeah, so that you can see the tank does work against tier 7s. It struggles a little bit, but we were using standard ammunition, and we still managed to get one of those medals, so it does work. We finished on top for XP on our team, and did we finish on top for damage? We couldn't have. We did. Wow, we finished on top for our team for damage in a tier 5 medium. That's embarrassing. Alright, now, we fired 33 shots, 26 of those shots hit. Pretty good accuracy. Of the 26 hit, 20 penetrated. Now, yeah, the tanks we were firing against, we bounced off the front of the Churchill 7 and the Tiger P a little bit, which is understandable. 1,648 damage, which is pretty good. In a tier 5, we received 3 hits, they all penetrated. We damaged 9 tanks, destroying 4 of them, which is a pretty good result, and 435 assistance damage. Income of 41,000 is pretty nice. But there's big bonuses going at the moment, which is one of the reasons why I'm driving these Russian tanks at the moment. And as you can see, big credit bonus, so we made a lot of money. Now, 1,018 was enough for Mastery Badge, which is pretty low. So maybe there's not a lot of people driving this tank, or if they are driving it, they're not doing very well in it. I'm not sure. They might be trying to use the Top Gun rather than the ZIS-4. Maybe could explain it. But yeah, I would expect it to be a bit higher normally for Mastery in a tank. We have to interrupt today's review. Viewers, I'm sorry about that. I've tried 3 times to upload this review to YouTube and has failed 3 times, and it's a 10-hour upload, so it's driving me crazy. So I'm cutting the review shorter to see if that fixes the problem. Hopefully it does, and then the 3rd and final replay, I'll actually upload it separately within 24 hours, and you can see that it is worth watching. It is a Top Gun game. So, yeah, hopefully that'll come through separately. Apologise for that. Thank you. Thank you for watching my review of the T-34. If you liked it, then give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more reviews, please subscribe to ReginaldESQ. Have fun.